What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I am No Spoon, and today I'm going to talk to you about what to do when nothing is happening with your manifestation. Okay? Firstly, if you'd like to work with me, link is in the description. I really appreciate you. All right, so first, if we're going to cover all this, we got to start with the ego. The ego is something that people really like to demonize and make out to be this bad thing, like this separate part of you that is out to get you and is out to, set a diabolical plan to ruin your manifestation. All right. That right there could be ruining the entire process of your manifestation abilities in general, because you're thinking that this aspect of the mechanism of manifestation is out to get you. So you are needing to run from it or ignore it or whatever. And in doing that, you are basically saying, that's true about me. I need to shut it out. I need to run from it. I need to do a technique to get away from it. I'm here to offer you a bit of a different perspective. So for me, what works for me is I actually treat the ego like a friend. And if you've ever had a friend who will agree with everything that you say, no matter if it's the most outrageous statement that you've ever made, they're like, yeah, exactly. They just agree with everything you say. Yeah, fuck that dude. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And then once you and that person make amends, they're like, oh, he's so sweet. He's the best ever for you. They just validate every single thing you say without offering their true opinion, right? So that's how I want you to treat the ego. I want you to treat the ego like a best friend who literally validates and proves you correct with every single thing that you say. So if you, for example, have been telling your story about your SP in your head, and you have this certain contained version story of your SP that says, they don't prioritize me. They're probably talking to other guys. They're probably talking to other girls. They're, probably this and that. They're probably doing this. They're probably whatever story you have. Your ego goes, yeah, they definitely are. Let me show you. Let me show you that evidence. And then you experience that. And the more you do that, the ego and you are on an automatic program. You don't even have to think about it. The ego's like, this is the person you are. This is what we agreed upon last. Let's just give you all these circumstances to prove you right in what you said. Yeah. So the moment that you start to claim a new story about your SP, about money, about anything, about your identity in relation to this thing, you basically disrupt the system going on. Your ego knows this story over there. It has no problem sending you these circumstances at will. But you start claiming anew. You start saying, actually, my SP is so in love with me. They prioritize me so much. They put me first. They're blowing my phone up every single day. Your ego goes, hang on, wait a second. You have been telling us this story over here. Are you sure that that's what we're going with? It's like, hang on, no, let me show you. Let me keep throwing you these reasons, right? We're used to this. Isn't that true? And then it goes. And then you can either A, emotionally react to it, which means you think that's true about you. And you can see that situation that the 3D or the ego or whatever throws at you, and you can say, oh no, yeah, that always happens to me. That's who I am. That's the person I am. And then the ego goes, oh yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. Here's more of those things. And it will do it in many different ways. It will do it in ways that aren't an exact replica of the situation. It will throw it in many different forms to get you to emotionally react to remain in the identity that you have been telling it over and over again. Right? So all its job is to keep you familiar with the information and perceptions that you have been feeding it. So if you've been telling a story for however many years, it's going to automatically throw you these things to keep you familiar. Yes, we're staying predictable. We don't want any unpredictable circumstances that go against our perception, because maybe there's a saber-toothed tiger around the corner. You know, we want to be prepared for every single outcome. We need to predict every outcome that we can. So firstly, treat your ego like a friend who just agrees with everything you say. And once it starts trying to give you those familiar things, once you've claimed anew, all you need to do is know that your ego is going to agree with you sooner or later if you remain steadfast, if you remain convicted in your new story. It's going to. First, though, it's going to be like, wait, I thought we were doing this thing over here. Let me show you these things. When your new story's over here and you see those situations, you remain in the new story. And you're like, no, it's actually this way. No, this is the way we're going. This is the way we're doing it. I don't care what you throw at me. That's not the story anymore. That's not what we're going with. So patience definitely comes into this, because people think that they claim anew and then reality is supposed to reflect it on a dime, which it does. But to our five senses down here in the third dimension, it does not. So keeping that in mind, this is understanding how the law works. The law works as within, so without. So if you could see with your physical eyes what is happening in the fourth dimension, or consciousness, or when you go within and you imagine something or give yourself a state, if you could see what's happening, you would see that everything is happening the moment that you claim anew. You would see that this old story literally has been shed away the moment that you claim that it has, that you have claimed anew. But since we live in a third dimension that plays by the rules of time and space, this needs to happen, for this to happen, for this to happen, for this to happen, for this to happen, and then here's your end, and then it happens. But what is blocking your manifestation is you claim anew, and then you see one situation that is against your new story, and you go, oh, this isn't working. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. This doesn't work. I don't believe in this. I'm doing something wrong. I need to affirm more times. That's the illusion right there at play. It's the paradoxical illusion to all of this, right? So another thing is, if you are the identity who has whatever it is that you want, SP, money, health, career, whatever, you shouldn't be aware that nothing is going on. See, you are giving too much validation to the 3D when the reality that things are generated from is in here. So understanding how the law works, as within, so without, you have to give yourself so much fulfillment of already having that thing within that you don't care what you see out here. You could give a shit less if it shows up or not, because you have experienced it so much in here and you understand how reality works. Those two things right there give you such an edge on everything when you can really come to the understanding that once you claim anew, the outside story is gone. The outside is dead. I don't care if you see the worst thing possible, it's dead. It's dead and gone. There's nothing there anymore. And understanding that fulfillment itself within is all that you need to experience it eventually in the third dimension. But if you place too much importance on, I haven't experienced this in the 3D yet, then you are choking the energy and you are going against the law, saying, I am now not the person who has it. Because you were emotionally reacting to things outside. You were taking feedback from the outside, thinking that is final, that is true, when that is actually the old story that you've spit out. The new story comes from within. The new story is internally whatever you imagine, whatever you claim to be true, that is the true story. So when you are sitting here, and this was the big one for me, guys, like the nothing is happening curveball that the ego tries to throw to get you back into a familiar state was the big one for me. I was like, okay, I'm not seeing the opposition happen to me. And I'm not seeing the favorable happen to me. I'm kind of in this limbo phase where like I feel like I'm just exercising this law and claiming things as I see fit, and nothing seems to be moving backwards or forwards. And I'm here to tell you that's another mechanism your ego uses to get you to be back into the familiar past, the familiar identity that you have been in. So don't fall for it. It is another illusion. Stay remaining in your internal state. If you were the person who had $1 million, who was married to their SP, you wouldn't be aware out here that nothing is happening. You're married to your SP. You have $1 million. That's where you take your validation from, internally. So when you can recognize and you're experiencing your day and there's that feeling of like, man, like nothing's budging. No, actually, we're happily married. Life's great. Keep it moving. Focus back on yourself. Focus back on the identity that you are, who you claim to be, what you experience in life. Everything always works out for me. Everything I do turns to gold. Right? Again, because I say don't focus all your attention on one desire. You will pedestalize this thing and you will make it separate from you and you will make it important. And that's another way to scream to reality, I don't have this thing. Because when you are married to your SP, you're not obsessing about them 24/7. You're not checking their story every 5 minutes. You're not checking your phone every 5 seconds to see if they've texted. Behave exactly the way that the you who has what they want would behave. Emulate it to a T. Thought, word, deed, behavior, action, expression, everything. All the way down to it. Change the story. Change the story you were telling yourself. All right? And I'm not here to come down on anybody, because I have been through every single stage of manifestation emotionally and mentally that you could possibly think of. I've been through every single one of them backwards and forth. And I know it's not fun. I know what it's like to be at the lowest of the low and hanging on to this law for dear life like it's my only lifeline. But I'm telling you, when you understand this law and you understand how it works, everything changes. Literally everything changes. And all you have to do is claim to be anew in the face of opposition over and over and over and over and over and over again. Sure, you could say it's like a muscle, but that again reinforces that there's time to get there. Maybe your time to understand and wrap your head around what is happening, yes, but the law is instant, immediate, absolutely immediate. You claim to be this, it's that way right now. And if you could see the 4D with your physical eyes, you would see everything molding and building a bridge for you to walk the steps to that end. But we don't. We see the old story still in front of our face. We see stillness. We see nothing happening. And we go, oh, this doesn't work. And then immediately you claim this doesn't work, and life molds around, nothing working. Life molds around you finding more and more coaches, you finding a new technique that you think is going to work, you thinking that you need to find more understanding for this to work. And it becomes an endless cycle. Reality is so beautiful. It's so paradoxical. But once you figure it out, this shit becomes like a video game. I'm not joking to you. That is my life now. After, what month is it? October? A little over a year. It took me here. So I'm here to shave down that time and give you no bullshit, no fluff, no clickbait. You can tell, by my videos, I'm not trying to make some special thumbnail. I'm not trying to clickbait you into any title. I'm not trying to do any of that shit. I'm only on YouTube. I'm not on Instagram or TikTok or any of that shit because I am applying the law that I teach on this channel. I am applying it towards my YouTube channel. The thing that I did with my channel was I had learned this for so long and I knew it so well that I was like, I seem to be talking about this throughout my entire day to my friends, to my family, to literally everybody that was in my vicinity. This is how I talk now. And all I got were glazed over eyes. People just being like, and I knew they didn't understand because everybody's at their own stage of self-awareness and self-discovery. And that was another lesson that I learned. Not everybody wants to hear this. Not everybody's ready to hear this. So if you are searching for all this stuff because you believe in something greater, you believe that you have a bigger part of yourself that is able to consciously create your own reality, then you are somebody who is way ahead of the curve. Way ahead of the curve. I mean, I'm talking like 95% of the masses do not even realize the power that they have within. So first of all, make yourself a lucky one for being that. So when I made this YouTube channel, I was like, oh, if I start making videos and speaking about this, I'll actually be able to reach out to the people that are searching for this and that want to hear this stuff. And then I'll actually be able to help people. That's so fulfilling to me. Awesome. Cool. And then I'll get to do this every single day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a YouTube channel and I'm going to film it wherever the hell I want. I'm not going to make any clickbaity thumbnail stuff. I'm going to just put it out there and I'm going to know that it's going to blow up, that people are going to absorb it and resonate with it, and they're going to find results from it, and they're going to realize their power within and expand their consciousness. And I don't need anything else but YouTube. That's it. I've had plenty of people hit me up for thumbnails and be like, hey, bro, you should make a thumbnail. It'll make your views go up. That's not what I'm looking at. That's not what I'm looking at. Let's see. Real quick. Today is October 20th, 2025. Last week I had 10 subscribers. And in 2 days, I jumped 9 subscribers. So I have 19 currently. Now, the version of me who made a YouTube channel thinking, I don't know how this is going to go. You know, I'm just going to try and put myself out there and just see what happens. I'm just going to see what happens. They would have seen that jump overnight and been like, oh my gosh, I'm getting movement. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing movement in my thing, in my yes, I'm getting to the place that I want. Yes, oh, I have 18, now I have 19. Oh my goodness, oh, look at the view count on this one. Wow, it has way more than Is that the version of myself who already claims that they have over 1 million subscribers? I don't care what I see out here. Physically, I see 19 subscribers. Internally, I see 1.13 million subscribers. And that's how I behave towards everything. I don't check analytics. I don't check views because what am I checking? I'm checking the old story. If I'm somebody who has 1.13 million subscribers, and I'm refreshing my page to see if I got another subscriber, well, who is that? That's the guy who doesn't have 1.13 million subscribers. That's a guy who has 19 subscribers and is waiting to get to their 20th. So you have to behave exactly the way that the version of you who already has what you want, emulate them to a T. To a T. I'm a person with 1.13 million subscribers and everybody resonates with this and they find incredible value with this. And it doesn't even matter. Oh, cool. I'm showing that I have 19 subscribers. That's the old story. That's the wrong story. What is movement? Movement is nothing. Movement is you watching the old story wiggle a little bit. You're supposed to be in your end, married with your SP, financially abundant. So what does it matter if you get a little payment or a text from your SP? The fuck does it matter? That's not your story either. Again, it's like calling somebody by the wrong name. You know what your story is. If somebody kind of got your name right, would you be like, there you go? No, that's not it. My end is over here. We can let the 3D wiggle and dance and do whatever it has to do and throw us curveballs. We're going to remain the same. We're going to remain the same. Right? Okay, good. That's pretty much all that I wanted to cover. This 3D is malleable. Treat it like that. Understand the power that you have within to consciously create your whole reality. You are all that is. You are connected to literally everything. And there is nothing off limits. The only way that you are not connected to something is if you say so. Isn't that so beautiful? You have the say for everything. Perception is everything. And you making everything normal to you. Not putting things on a pedestal. Not saying, I need this thing, so let me think about it constantly and let me blah, blah, blah. That is another way to say, I am not connected with this thing. This is separate from me. This is more important for me. I need to experience it. So life, reality, your ego will give you more of a need to experience it. Keep this little gap between you two. Realize that you are one with everything. Realize that everything starts from within and then reflects without. Stop worrying on time. Stop worrying on the how. Claim to be anew and stay there and be present. Everything manifests whenever you're present. All right? Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. This is No Spoon, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.